The sun dipped low over the grand cliffs by Eldoria Palace, casting long shadows across the jagged rocks. Amelia, a spirited artist and visitor to the palace gardens, walked alone, her sketchbook clutched tightly. The air carried the salty tang of the sea, mingling with the scent of blooming roses from the palace gardens behind her. Curiosity had lured her to the cliffs. She had heard tales of the hidden grotto at the cliff's edge, where the waves crashed dramatically against stone, leaving a misty veil over the jagged rocks. She was determined to see it for herself. Amelia's boots slipped once, then again, on the uneven stones, but she brushed it off, heart racing with thrill rather than fear. She reached the edge of a crumbling outcrop, peering down at the roaring sea below. Her sketchbook trembled in her hands. A sudden gust of wind whipped through the cliffs. Amelia stumbled backward, her foot sliding on loose gravel. Panic surged as she realized she had stepped too close to the edge. Her arms flailed, trying to find footing, but the earth beneath her gave way. A scream tore from her lips as she plummeted, catching only on a narrow ledge jutting from the cliff face. Her fingers clutched at the cold stone, nails scraping painfully. The sheer drop beneath her made her stomach lurch. The pounding of her heart drowned out even the crashing waves. "Help!" she cried, her voice raw with terror. From above, a shadow moved across the cliff. Amelia's heart skipped a beat. The Duchess of Eldoria, known for her poise and bravery, appeared at the top, her long cloak flaring in the wind. Lady Celeste's eyes locked onto Amelia, and she didn't hesitate. With a calm urgency, the Duchess began descending the cliff, her movements precise and fearless. "Hold on, I've got you," she called, her voice cutting through the roaring winds. Amelia clung tighter, barely daring to breathe. Celeste gripped Amelia's wrists with iron determination, hoisting her upward inch by inch. The cliff scraped against Amelia's palms, drawing blood, but she hardly noticed. Her gaze was locked on Celeste's face, so composed, so unyielding, yet soft with concern. "Almost there," Celeste said, her voice steady but intense. "Trust me." Amelia nodded. The words failed her. She let herself believe in the Duchess's strength, letting go of the panic gnawing at her. The wind howled around them, tugging at their hair and clothing. Each second stretched like an eternity as Celeste pulled, muscles straining. Finally, after a heart-stopping climb, Amelia felt the solid ground beneath her feet, thanks to Celeste's firm grip. She collapsed into the Duchess's arms, trembling and breathless. Celeste held her close, brushing back Amelia's damp hair, concern etching her face. "You're safe now," Celeste whispered. Her voice was soft, yet it carried an unspoken intensity that made Amelia's heart skip. I thought I was done for," Amelia stammered, still shivering from fear and adrenaline. "You're stronger than you think," Celeste replied, her eyes locking onto Amelia's. In that moment, Amelia felt a spark, something electric, something that went beyond mere gratitude. They stayed like that for a long moment, the cliff's edge forgotten, the sea roaring below. The sun had nearly set, painting the sky in shades of orange and violet, casting a halo around Celeste's figure. Amelia's pulse slowed, but the flutter in her chest refused to settle. She felt drawn to Celeste in a way she couldn't explain. Every story she had heard of the Duchess's elegance now seemed pale compared to the raw courage she had just witnessed. Celeste finally helped Amelia stand upright, brushing dirt and gravel from her skirts. "You should be more careful," she said, though her tone was gentler than the words suggested. "The cliffs can be unforgiving." Amelia smiled nervously. Back in the palace, Amelia was led to a private chamber to recover. Celeste stayed nearby, insisting on making sure she was all right. The room was elegant, adorned with velvet curtains and golden sconces, a stark contrast to the danger of the cliffs. "You really shouldn't go wandering so recklessly," Celeste said, pacing slowly. "What were you thinking?" Amelia laughed nervously, brushing a strand of hair behind her ear. "Curiosity got the better of me, I suppose. I wanted to see the cliffs, the sea, the hidden grotto." Celeste studied her closely, a faint smile playing on her lips. "Curiosity can be dangerous, but sometimes it leads to extraordinary things." Amelia's eyes widened. "Extraordinary things?" "The kind that make the heart race," Celeste replied, her voice softening, almost intimate. She stepped closer, and Amelia felt her breath catch. The Duchess's presence was commanding yet strangely comforting, like the calm after a storm. Amelia found herself drawn to Celeste's gaze. There was something in the Duchess's eyes that made her feel seen, as if she were the only person in the room. And perhaps, in that moment, she realized she was not merely grateful for being saved, she was captivated. Celeste's hand brushed Amelia's, deliberately slow, igniting a shiver. "You're brave," Celeste said, her voice slow. "Not many people would survive what you just did, much less keep their composure." Amelia's heart thudded. I suppose bravery is contagious," she said, attempting lightness, though her voice trembled slightly. Celeste smiled, a rare, warm expression that made Amelia feel as though the world had shifted just for them. "Perhaps," she said. "Or perhaps you've simply met someone worth risking everything for." The words hung in the air, heavy and undeniable. Amelia felt a rush of emotion she hadn't anticipated, a fierce, uncontainable pull toward the woman who had saved her life, body and soul. Days passed since the cliffside incident, yet Amelia couldn't shake the memory of Celeste's eyes, the intensity, the warmth, the unspoken promise that lingered in every glance. She wandered the palace halls more often, sketchbook in hand, hoping for another chance encounter. Celeste seemed to sense her presence. The Duchess's schedule was impossibly tight, yet she appeared in the gardens at sunset, in the library among the towering shelves, always somehow near Amelia. Each meeting was charged with tension, subtle touches, fleeting smiles, and lingering gazes. One evening, Amelia found herself alone in the rose garden, sketching the blooms. Celeste appeared silently, as though the palace itself had led her there. "You've captured the roses beautifully," she said, her voice a soft caress. Amelia's fingers froze on her sketchbook. Thank you. "Duchess Celeste." "Call me Celeste," the Duchess replied, stepping closer. The scent of her perfume, lavender and amber, was intoxicating. "I like seeing the world through your eyes. It's refreshing." Amelia's heart raced. I like seeing the world too, sometimes, differently." Celeste's gaze softened, lingering on Amelia's lips before returning to her eyes. "Different can be dangerous, but also wonderful." Her hand brushed lightly against Amelia's as she reached for a fallen petal. The contact sent shivers up Amelia's spine. "I feel something," Amelia admitted, her voice barely a whisper. "I don't know if it's fear or—" Celeste stepped closer, bridging the distance between them. "It's neither," she said, eyes dark with emotion. "It's connection. What you feel is real. And you're not alone in it." Amelia's breath hitched. She realized then that the Duchess's daring rescue had opened a door, not just to safety, but to a bond neither could deny. The cliffside wasn't just a memory of peril, it was the beginning of something dangerously beautiful. Night fell over Eldoria Palace, cloaking the world in shadow and secrecy. Amelia had received an anonymous note earlier, inviting her to the highest tower, promising answers. Her heart raced as she climbed the spiral staircase, clutching her lantern. At the top, She found Celeste waiting, the moonlight haloing her silhouette. "I wasn't sure you'd come," Celeste said softly. "But I hoped you would." Amelia's pulse quickened. "You sent this?" Celeste nodded. "I had to see you. Away from the walls, away from the courtiers and gossip. Just us." She stepped closer, hands trembling slightly, betraying a rare vulnerability. Amelia reached out, brushing a strand of hair from Celeste's face. "I've thought about you every day," she confessed, voice raw with longing. Celeste's fingers entwined with hers, warmth spreading through them. "And I've thought about you," she admitted. "Since that day on the cliff. I can't get you out of my mind. Every moment I wanted to hold you, protect you, be near you." The words hung between them, fragile yet electrifying. Amelia's lips parted. "Then, why didn't you?" Celeste's gaze fell, a blush coloring her cheeks. "Duty, appearances, the palace. But tonight, I can be selfish." She tilted her head, lips barely brushing Amelia's. "May I?" Amelia's answer was in the kiss, urgent, trembling, a meeting of hearts that had been drawn together by fear and destiny. The world outside ceased to exist, the cliffs, the palace, the rules, all dissolved into the warmth of their embrace. When they finally parted, breathing heavy, Amelia whispered, "I've never felt anything like this before." Celeste smiled, eyes sparkling. "Nor have I. And yet it feels inevitable." Weeks passed, and the romance blossomed in secret, filled with stolen glances, secret letters, and moonlit meetings along the palace cliffs. The danger Amelia had once faced seemed distant now, replaced by the thrill of being near Celeste, sharing whispered dreams and gentle touches. One evening, they returned to the cliffs, the site of their first meeting. Amelia held Celeste's hand, heart thundering with both fear and longing. "I was terrified here once," she admitted, gazing at the churning sea below. "And yet," Celeste said, cupping her face, "here you are, alive and with me." Amelia smiled, leaning into the touch. "I trust you," she whispered, voice trembling. "Completely." Celeste's lips brushed Amelia's forehead, then her lips, softly at first, then with a deep, consuming passion. "And I will always protect you," she vowed. "No cliff, no danger, nothing will separate us." Amelia's heart soared, knowing that the woman who had saved her life now held her heart as well. They stood together on the cliff, the wind tangling their hair, the waves roaring below, a reminder of the fragility of life, but also the intensity of love. "Promise me something," Amelia said, her hand over Celeste's heart. "I promise," Celeste replied. "Promise me, we'll always face everything together. No fear, no regrets." Celeste's lips curved into a smile, fierce and tender. "I promise. Always." And there, on the edge of the world, hearts entwined, two women who had faced danger and destiny found love in its purest, most exhilarating form. The cliff was no longer a place of fear. It was where their story began, and where it would continue, unshakable, unyielding, eternal. The sun dipped below the horizon, casting their shadows across the rocks, as if the world itself bowed to the love that had bloomed amidst peril. Amelia leaned into Celeste, safe, cherished, and utterly, irreversibly in love.